Hello everybody, jimmyispromo here, back again with another awesome video. And if at any point in time in this video you guys like what you see, make sure you guys hit on that like button, as well as don't forget to hit on that subscribe and hit on that bell for notifications so you get notified of any future videos. So today we're going to talk about the first 10 things that you should do once you get yourself the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. So I'm just going to assume that we went through the initial setup process of you being inside of a store, or you went over to Amazon where you got yourself a screen protector along with a case. And you also set up your phone through the normal setup process by putting in your Samsung account as well as your Gmail account. So now that you have this thing set up, what is the first 10 things to do with this device? So the first thing that we will talk about is that we will go back over into your Google settings, making sure everything is set up appropriately, just in case if something happens to your Samsung Galaxy Note 8, in case if it gets lost or stolen or broken, we want to make sure that everything is backed up. So what you want to do is pull down the notifications panel, click on that settings icon. Then you're going to click down where it says cloud and accounts, and then you'll click on accounts. Click on Gmail because everything is really saved and backed up through Gmail, and click on that email that is used in your phone for everything to be backed up. Now, if you're brand new to Samsung or you're brand new to Android, make sure you guys always remember what your email and your password is, because this is what you'll use when you go from Android to Android to Android or Samsung to Samsung to Samsung to keep everything backed up. So the screen here shows you everything that is going to be backed up with your Gmail account. So you can see how it's going to have the app data, your calendar, contacts, Drive, Gmail, and everything else. Anything that is inside of this little blue different color right here means that it's toggled on, and anything that's gray means that it is toggled off. Now what I want you to do is hit on that back button 3 times. It's going to take you right back over into this cloud and accounts page that we were just in just a couple seconds ago. And right below where it says the accounts, we're going to go over into backup and restore. So then this way, if something does happen to this phone, you are able to restore it at a future date to basically mimic what your phone is as of right now. This bottom section over here is going to be dealing with your Google account. So you can see here that it is able to back up. My data is turned on. Your backup account is selected, so just make sure that is the appropriate Gmail, and then you also have the automatic restore turned on if you would like it to as well. The very top section up here is going to be the Samsung account. Now when you go over into your backup settings, this is all the different things you'd be able to back up with your Samsung account. Now I do highly suggest using a Samsung account, not just a Gmail, because your Samsung account is able to be used with almost anything that is Samsung that is smart and connected, so meaning not just your smartphones. So this one right here with your Samsung account, it is able to back up things such as your phone, your clock, and home screen apps, the settings, messages, music, voice recorder, and documents. But what exactly does that mean? What exactly does phone mean, and what does clock and also home screen? But before we go over into that info, I do want to let you guys know that you are able to have the option up here for the auto backup, and then this way it'd be able to back it up automatically so you wouldn't have to do it manually. Now if you go to the very top and you hit on info, this is where it's going to show you in all the different information and criteria for your phone to do an auto backup, which means that your phone is charging, you have not used it for an hour, and it is connected to a Wi-Fi signal. The only reason why it's talking about the whole screen off for about an hour is because it doesn't want to interfere if you are actively using your phone, even if you are connected to Wi-Fi and it is charging. Now this is where it gives you all the different details of where it says phone, clock, home screen, and so on and so forth. So for the backup data for the phone, it is your call and message history. For the clock, it's your alarms, world clock, and timers. Home screen, it's your layout and wallpapers. So if you do transfer from this Samsung to the next Samsung here in the future, you are able to actually move all of this and restore it. So now that we talked about initially setting up your Google and Samsung account to make sure everything is backed up so you'd be able to restore it in the future, let's make sure that we don't lose our photos. So what you want to do is go over to your application tray. You're going to click on the folder that says Google, and then you're going to click on Photos. Now on the very top left-hand side, click on that little 3 little lines, and you do want to make sure that you have selected your Gmail that you use for anything in terms of backing up. And then all you have to do is click on Settings, and then go to the very top option which says Backup and Sync. So inside of here it shows you how much storage you have, and if you do want to buy more storage, you are able to. It's showing that you have 15 gigs usually when you start off. But I do want to let you know too, if you go to this option right here where it says the upload size, you have 2 options. One of them is the high quality, which you have free unlimited storage, which this is the one that I use. Or you'd be able to do the option down over here where it says original, which means that it's limited to the account storage because it is basically uploading the full resolution of your images. But more than likely you're going to be perfectly fine if you choose the top option, which is called high quality, because it is still going to be uploaded as high quality, and really most of the images that we have today is just used for online purposes. So if you do choose the options for the original, you do probably want to upgrade this from the 15 gigs. Now over here, you can choose what is being backed up on the cellular data. So I have mine set up for photos, and it'll do the videos once it's connected to a Wi-Fi signal. So now that we got the very first two done, let's move over into the third thing you should do when you get your Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and that's dealing with the display settings, because this will also help you with your battery life. So pull down the notifications panel, click on that settings icon, and then you're going to choose the option for display. Now underneath the display, I usually have my brightness set right below probably the halfway point, and I also have the auto brightness turned on. So in this way, if I was to kind of go somewhere that's darker or lighter, it's going to change that brightness for me, but not go extremely crazy bright, because it's not really needed. So I put mine right around here, and if you have to turn it up just a little bit more manually, you are able to. And then for blue light filter, if you want to click on this one right over here and not just the toggle, this is where you can change how much of the blue to kind of take away from the screen. So really what the blue light filter is for is it's a way to make sure that you're not looking at so much blue right before bed, because you don't want to suppress the melatonin. And that's why people always say not to watch TV or look at your phone right before you go to bed. And I also have mine set up as a custom schedule. So I do have it starting at 9 p.m. and ending at 7 a.m. So I usually go to bed right around midnight or maybe 12:30. So starting at 9 o'clock is perfectly fine for me. Right below there, you're going to see screen mode. Just make sure you keep that at the adaptive display. And then for the screen resolution, you can just put it right over in the middle. You don't have to have it all the way to the very top, because that will take just a little bit more of your battery life. Now below there, going to a little bit more of the customization, it's going to be the home screen. So for your home screen, you're able to change your layout. So if you want to have your home and your app screen there, this is your top option. If you want it to only be your home screen, that means that every single application that was in the app tray is now going to be over into your home screen. So this is kind of how the iPhones are set up. So if you are coming from an iPhone, this is a way to put it just a little bit more similar to what you're used to. And then you also have the home grid. So I usually have mine as the 5x5, or you can do the 5x6. These ones right over here, you know, the 4x5 and the 4x6, they're just a little too small for me. I want to have more icons on my home page. And you can do the same thing with your apps screen grid as well. So if you want it 4x6 or the 5x6. And then the last two I want to talk about on the screen here for the display option is going to be your navigation bar, because you are able to choose how you have this thing set up. So if you wanted to, you can actually set up to where it's going to be the back, home, and recent. So once you choose this option here, this one will be for those people that are used to having a full pure Android experience. So if you are used to that, or if you're left-handed, this will be the option for you. If you're right-handed and you're also not used to that whole pure vanilla, you know, Android version, and you're used to the Samsung phones, you might as well just keep it right here. Or if you're just right-handed, just because the back button is probably more than likely the most used icon that is right over here other than the home. And then the screen timeout, just make sure you guys put this thing over at 2 minutes instead of the 1 minute, because you might be looking at a screen, setting it down, doing something really fast, coming right back. So you don't want it to time out. But the 5 and the 10 minutes, this right here, you know, there's gonna be several different times that the screen will probably stay on when you really don't want it to, and it's gonna take away a lot of your battery. So a good happy medium will be 2 minutes. Now before we finish up with the display settings, I wanna make sure that if you guys wanted to, you can have that little display brightness option up here. If you pull down the notifications panel twice, you're gonna see it pop up right here. But if you wanna have it there all the time showing on the very top, then you just hit that little down arrow, hit on OK for the show on the very top. And then this way, anytime you pull down the notifications panel, you are able to change your brightness at any given point in time. Now the extreme last thing I want to talk about with the display is talking about the AlwaysOn display, because it's a way that it can also conserve your battery, and it is dealing with the display. So you want to pull down the notifications panel, click on the settings icon, go down to where it says the lock screen and security, and then down over here for the AlwaysOn display, you're able to choose which clock face you want to have on your main home screen. And what's going to happen is it's a way that you can see what time it is, as well as what was the notifications, so you don't have to keep on hitting that power button about 150 times a day. So in theory and in all actuality, it does actually help you save your battery consumption, because you're not going to always keep hitting that power button just to see what time it is, when all you have to do is just look at your phone, and everything is very dimly lit, as well as everything is pretty much black everywhere, which is making sure that the battery is not even being in use. As well as if you wanted to, you can set a schedule. So for mine, I have mine set up for 7 a.m. and it ends at 11:59 p.m. So basically at midnight. So during the hours of me being up, it's being able to be used, but during the night nighttime, it's not taking or consuming battery, displaying something that I'm not going to be checking out as I'm sleeping. So now the fourth thing is dealing with the animation scale. So I've been doing this to my phones for probably the last 5 or 6 years, because if I don't take this thing away, I can see a huge lag in my device, and I want to make sure that it runs extremely fast. So pull down the notifications panel, click on that settings icon. Then you're going to scroll down, and what you're going to do is you're going to unlock your developer options. If you don't know how to unlock your developer options, you're going to go to About Phone, then you're going to click on Software Information, and underneath the software information, you're going to click on Build Number about 7 times. Once you do that 7 times, then it's able to unlock this developer options, and then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll on down to where you see the animation scales. So the window animation scale, transition, and the animator duration scale, I usually have all of these ones set to either off, or you can put them all at the 0.5. So what exactly is this thing doing? So here's the window animation scale. You can see that it popped up almost instantly. So what would happen if I put the ×2? Now it's going to pop up pretty slow. Let's say we do the ×5. Now it's going to be even slower. So that is what the animations is for. Is I don't need the animation for me to go from screen to screen to screen. I just want it to pop up instantly. So this is the fourth thing to do when you get your Samsung Galaxy device. The fifth thing we're going to talk about is your S Pen settings. So with the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, the S Pen is a huge asset of this device. So what you want to do is pull down the notifications panel, click on that settings icon, and then you're going to go over into where it says the advanced features. Underneath advanced features, you're going to click on S Pen. Now I'm only giving you the long way in case if for some reason you pull your S Pen out and this screen does not pop up. Usually what happens is when you pull out your S Pen, then the air command will instantly pop up, and then you have your settings icon right over here, which will do the exact same thing as what I just showed you. So up over here with the S Pen settings, you do want to make sure you turn on your Air View. The nice thing about Air View is that you're able to hover your S Pen over words and text and images, and it actually interacts with the S Pen and with your phone. You also have the direct pen input, and if you want to know a lot more of these details of everything with the S Pen settings, I actually have a full video going in depth of everything for the S Pen. I just want to make sure that this is part of the first 10 things you do when you get your phone. So you want to make sure your Air View is turned on, your direct pen input is on, the pointer is on if you want it to be, as well as the screen off memo. So this way at any point in time, when you pull your S Pen out, when the screen is in the black screen, it's going to go over into the screen off memo. So you don't even have to unlock your phone or get into your phone to make any type of a note. And then also for the shortcuts and this little air command that we talked about from before, you'd be able to choose which shortcuts are there, and also if you wanted the floating icon. Now another way of changing the order and changing what applications is shown on your Air Command is that you can just simply go inside of Air Command. Now if there's any of these here that you wanted to move around, make sure you go around in that circle. You can change them in a different location, or you can remove it, so then this way a new plus icon is here that you can add a brand new application for your Air Command. Now we have to talk about Air Command because this is something that pops up usually every time you pull out the S Pen. So you want to make sure that you have all these different settings turned on, and also place these in the areas you want. So if you use your screen right just a little bit more, if that is the one that will probably be easier to hit as a second icon, that's a way you'd be able to do it. Now the sixth thing to do is playing with the edge panels, because the edge panels is something that is just right there. It's easy, it's convenient, your thumb is able to pick it out and move it out, and it's a way that you'd be able to have a whole bunch of different shortcuts or applications that you'd want to use. So the nice thing about it is that you do have this little rectangle option for Smart Select. So just as a really fast demo, what I can show you is that if I wanted to have this little area here and I hit on done, I'd be able to hit share and send it with anybody and everybody I want to. Then the nice thing about it is that I'd be able to hit the back button just a few times, and now that little image that I just sent to somebody, which was basically my goal, is not even saved into my phone. Now if you do want to save anything from Smart Select, you are able to hit that save option, and then it is in your gallery. But let's go over into the settings of the edge panels really fast. What you want to do is choose on the edge panels that you would like to have on the edge. Now, any of these ones over here, you can also choose them as well, but these are ones that I don't use on a daily basis, but the ones right over here, I actually do. Then on the very top right hand side, you do have the little 3 dots, and this is where you can change the handle settings. Now this was really one of the main things I want to talk about with this option here. You can either have it on the right side or the left side. You can change the size of it, which you can see there, it's getting a lot larger. And then you can also change the transparency. So if you want it to show just a little bit more, bring it over that way as well. And then this right here, you can bring it up with these little arrows to kind of place it along where your thumb usually is when you're holding the phone. So if your thumb is usually within this little vicinity, you can keep it right there, then you just give a little swipe of your thumb, and now you're able to use your edge panels. The seventh thing to do is go inside of your camera application. And the reason being is so in this way, if at any point in time, the moment you leave the store, you're able to take a picture the way you want to. So if you wanted to, you can have this thing set up for the full screen if you want it to, for the image to take up the whole display, or if you just want it set up right here, which is almost like the 4:3 image. And then also on the very top right hand side, hit on that settings icon, and then this is where you can choose your picture size. So if you want it to be the largest 12 megapixels with the image being a 4:3, which this one is kind of the one that people should do because this is the image quality that's uploaded onto, you know, Twitter and Facebook and everything else. Everything else, if you do the 16:9, will kind of get cut off with particular applications. So you might as well keep it on the very top, the 4:3, 12 megapixel, because you do have 64 gigs of internal storage and you're able to expand it. And then for the video size, usually most people will probably do the full HD. You can do the QHD if you want to, but this one right here is a fun one, and you can also do it at the 60 frames per second. And then have your tracking autofocus turned on, because if you do want to take a picture of somebody's face, this will always track that so you're not able to lose it. And then if you wanted to, you could turn on the timer, which for this one I have it turned off at the moment. You can also do the exact same things with the front-facing camera, so I have mine set up there. I also put mine set as the timer for 2 seconds for the front-facing, so in this way I can hit the button and then I can readjust my hand or phone to make sure it's a great image. But the one I want to talk about down here is the storage location. More than likely, if you put yourself a SD card in here, you probably want to put it to the SD card and not your device storage. So just choose the option of SD card, so this way it's not taking up any of your internal storage. But make sure again that you do have your Google settings set up for the Google Photos, so everything will be backed up automatically for you. So now let's go up to the very top for the 8th thing to do, which is playing with your notifications panel, but it's talking about all the different shortcuts on the very top. So what you want to do is pull this down 2 times. On the very top right hand side, click those little 3 dots. This is where you can choose the button order. So if you have particular applications that you use the majority of the time, put them on this first page right here. Now if there's any of these that you don't even use at all, you can actually bring it right over here, and it's going to be shown there if you want to bring it on back, but it's not going to be on the main page. So it's a way that you can kind of hide it, almost like a app tray for your quick settings. Now, if you wanted to, you can still have some right over here. If it's the ones that you don't use as much, but you still use it, put it on the second page. And all you have to do is just press and hold, and you'd be able to move it over where you want it to. Now, the very next one, when you hit on that 3 button, is going to be the button grid. So in this way, you can see how much of those little quick settings do you want to be on the top, the 3:3, 4:3, or 5:3. So I just use the 5:3 because I want to have more on the same screen, just as from before with all the different applications on the main homepage. For the 9th thing to do is to play with your settings of Bixby. So Bixby is something that is added to this device. It is new for the Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, and the Note 8. It actually has a dedicated button right over here below the volume rocker. If you just swipe over to the right hand side over here, on the left side of it over here, you're going to see where it is your Bixby. Now on the very top right hand side, you have the options for settings, and the setting is a way that you'd be able to deactivate that Bixby button. So for me, I don't need to have it, you know, go to my Bixby homepage every time I hit on the Bixby button. But what I do use is when I press and hold on the Bixby, then I am able to actually give it its commands. So this is where you can either have that one turned on or off. Now on the very top right hand side, when you click over there, you can go over into your settings, and then this is where you can make sure everything is set up, and I do have my option here for Bixby Voice. Now talking about the Bixby key one more time, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, it's going to talk about general. This is where it talks about the Bixby key. So when you do hit on that Bixby key, what do you want it to do? The don't open anything or the Bixby Home? And then one more thing you can probably do is go over into the enhanced voice recognition. So what you're able to do is you'd be able to record your pronunciation again, but you'd be able to do it in a room that more than likely you use Bixby more often. So you can do it in the car, you can do it at work, you can do it anywhere you want to, where there's a little bit of background noise, but it's a way that you'd be able to kind of get this thing enhanced for the recognition with whatever background noise could be around you, instead of doing it somewhere that is super duper extremely quiet. Now, if for some reason you don't see that Bixby option right over here for your Bixby page, if you just do a little pinch to zoom on anywhere on the home page, if you move over, this is where you have your Bixby Home option to either have it on or off. So if you really don't want to have the little Bixby Home on the very left-hand side of your phone, you are able to turn it off if you want to. And now this very last one can go almost in any direction, but I wanted to save it for last because it's talking about organization. It's a way that you'll be able to organize your home page. So it's a way that if you wanted to, you can make all these different folders. So if you press and hold on an icon and you move it on top of another application or an icon, then now you're able to put it into its own folder. So let's say that I wanted Google Home and then the DJI Go application to be its own folder. Now I'm able to go inside of here, name it whatever I want it to name it. I can even make it a different color if I wanted to. And I can add more applications as well. But because I don't really want to have these two be in a folder together, I want it to go back on my home page. Now I'm able to bring it right back on out, and you can see that they went back to normal. Now another way to make a folder, and you can place it on your home screen or keep it in the application tray, is go over into the application tray, press and hold on any of the little applications, click on select multiple items. Now once you select on the multiple items, you are able to, if you wanted to, hit on create folder. So in this way, it'd be able to create a folder that way, just to go a little bit faster. So that's pretty much it for the very first 10 things you should do with your Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now I know that there's a few things I probably did forget, but these are the main first 10 things that I do with every single device I have. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but the moment that you do it just once or twice, then it gets easier and faster and faster and faster. And it's a way to make sure that your phone is set up for your own needs the way you want it to, and everything is backed up so that you can restore it in the future. So I hope that you guys have liked this video. Make sure you guys give this thing a huge thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button. You can also hit that little red circle right over here to hit on subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family and all over your social media sites so we can share the love of all the different tips and tricks and tutorials of these Samsung products. And outside of that, I'll see you guys later.